I thought my daughter was pregnant, but the truth was even more insane. Whenever one thing would happen to one of my twins, the other would always have the exact same experience. It was scary, like how Chris lost his V card on his 15th birthday, or the time the two went out during junior year and called me drunk, or even how I figured out Autumn's first period without her saying a word. Staring in the trash can of their shared bathroom showed how wrong I was. There were 2 pregnancy tests. The tests were missing, but the boxes were there with the receipt. I walked calmly into the living room to confront Autumn. There she was on the couch doing her nails as Chris played video games. Can we talk, Autumn? She barely looks up at me as she continues painting her toenails as she responded with her typical, sure. Are these your pregnancy tests? I asked bluntly, showing Autumn the 2 empty boxes and receipt. She froze completely before slowly looking up at me. No, she stated as Chris paused his game. You're pregnant, sis? Chris asked with a confused face. They are not my pregnancy tests, Autumn stated again. I'm not mad, Autumn. I just want to know the truth, I explained calmly in this situation. Autumn frowned at my response. Dad, I'm not pregnant. If I was, I would at least tell Chris, she responded with a slightly offended tone. I stared at her. There's no shame, Autumn. Please, just tell me the truth, I asked as politely as I could. I watched as Autumn went from calm to glaring at me. Chris seemed confused before looking slightly green. Autumn must have figured it out because her head snapped to Chris. Chris looked pale, sweaty, and nauseous all at the same time. Within the next second, Chris vomited on the hardwood floor. My eyes bugged out as I rubbed Chris's back soothingly. Autumn grabbed some paper towels to mop up the sick. Are you okay, Chris? I asked in concern. Yep, he squeaked out. Liar, Autumn stated calmly, throwing the paper towels away in the trash. I'm fine, Chris grinded out. Not, Autumn stated, retaking her seat. Yes, no, yes, no, yes, yes, Autumn switched. No, Chris shouted back before he recognized what he said. He glared at Autumn darkly. What are you two going on about? I asked in confusion. Nothing. The two responded in sync. That only told me that the two of them were lying. It was the only time they could speak in absolute sync with no issues. I glared at the two of them. What aren't you telling me? I asked in a former tone. Which part? Again, same voice, but 2 different people. Chris and Autumn stared at each other. Their hands moved before Chris threw out paper and Autumn had scissors. It's your confession, Autumn told Chris in a teasing voice. I absolutely hate you, Chris snarled at Autumn. All she did was smirk at him as she waved a hand between Chris and I. Well? I asked Chris pointedly. I may or may not have had my girlfriend over this weekend, Chris mumbles out. And? Autumn taunts her sibling. Chris instinctively punches her in the arm. My eyebrows furrow together in thought. My eyes widened before they snapped to Chris. You got your girlfriend pregnant? I scream out in distress. Chris just shakes his head. I don't know if she is or not, Chris screamed back in horror. Autumn leaned back on the couch to get a better view of Chris and myself. You know, that look right there at least means you'll never need a paternity test, Autumn stated as she snapped a photo. She was right. We both had the same exact look. You know, you could just call her Chris to find out if we need to drive Dad either to the ER for a new heart attack or a bar for scaring him half to death, Autumn says with a slight smirk. Chris immediately calls his girlfriend to find out the truth of the matter. Did you use my card to buy 2 pregnancy tests? Chris places his phone on speaker. Yes, but it was only a scare, Chris. I'm not pregnant, his girlfriend's voice said over the phone. Are you sure? Chris asks as he seems to finally catch his breath. I'm sure, Chris. A few minutes later, Chris was off the phone. Chris glares at Autumn as I rubbed my temples. Autumn is a lesbian and has a girlfriend. It turned out I needed to go to the bar and the ER. The bar was for Chris not knocking up a girl not even out of high school. I must have drunk more than every other person there. The ER was for the heart attack I had when I met Autumn's girlfriend and mother. The girlfriend's mother was my high school sweetheart that got away when we went to 2 separate colleges, multiple states away. Also, it turned out Autumn's girlfriend was bisexual and cheated with Autumn. She wound up pregnant. Turns out my heart can't keep up with my twins' love lives.